Okay, hey everybody. Today we are going to go live on a highly requested Facebook Live. This is Liz and Laura. And on my last live, we were talking about the vision board and how to manifest your dreams using a vision board. Well, with that being said, someone was very interested on how we do what books we read for personal development, setting ourselves up for success, and all of that. And when that happened, more people came on, and more people came on asking, what are books that you have read that have really changed your mindset and set yourself up for success? So I have a ton of books sitting in front of me right now, of books I've read. Laura's also going to go through as well. But we'll start from probably the very beginning of what we started reading when it came to self-help and self-development. Both of us have very different ways depending on what we were doing in our life at the time. So Laura, do you want to start with the first book you did?
Go ahead and start because I have to go grab mine.
Okay.
So okay, I'm back.
Super prepared. Okay, so the first book I did was I didn't really believe in like personal development books when I started. I didn't believe a lot of that, and I think that was my biggest mistake, was not believing these books could really help. And so I picked up a book that was coming highly recommended by a friend of mine, and it's Girl Code by Carol Alwa Leba. This book is for female entrepreneurs. It has interviews. I still follow a lot of these people as well on social media because they post things all the time. And this book, if it was just I was ready for it or what, I picked it up while and I went in and said, she read this book, and I said, you know what, I will join you in coaching. I wasn't coaching at this point. I wasn't interested in coaching. She was trying to get me to coach, and I kept saying no. And so eventually I did this. She is one of my favorite writers. I own multiple books of hers. Another one I own of hers is like She Owns the Place. I read this a couple years ago, right when it came out, and it spoke to me on every level. I remember reading it on a plane and crying because it just was calling me out on so many things I was feeling and really pushing me past my limit. And then I also have her workbooks, Set Up Your Success for Your Mind and all of that. The other book that I'm going to read next from her is Girl on Fire. I've heard really, really good things about this. I made it kind of through the book so far, but I'm still working on that book. So Carol Alwa Leba has podcasts. She has an Instagram where she's very heavy on it, posting multiple times a day, which is great because I see it all the time. Those are my biggest recommendations as far as from her. Now, going into where I went next after that was actually You Are a Badass. This book Laura recommended to me, and that she can talk about it too. But this book really, really changed my way of thinking. And I also even have her book on, which is next on my list, You Are a Badass at Making Money. So these books here, I know this one for a fact, I still think of a lot of what she said. When Laura and I were at an art auction, I purchased a piece I never saw me spending that kind of money on. I didn't want to. I kept saying no, and she was like, remember Jen Sincero. When she needed to level up, which is what you're trying to do this year, she made a purchase that scared her. And when Laura said that, I made the purchase that scared me, that would make me level up. So follow me throughout the year. A lot can change just probably by that purchase alone. But Laura, do you want to talk a little bit more about what spoke to you about this book? Because this is probably one of my top 3 books I recommend reading.
Yeah, one of the things that spoke to me is, first of all, she's really funny how she presents the information. And it comes from somebody that was really at the point in their life that she was really living in a garage somewhere and she didn't have any money. And the way she presents it, though, is really funny and is engaging. And it calls you out. I think we can all relate to some parts of what she said or she went through.
Mm-hmm.
By the same token, she took bold steps in moving forward, and every time, and the only time she regrets is the times that she didn't take the bold steps.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first time she wanted to make the big purchase, which was $80,000, she didn't do it, and then she went back a year later and she said, you know what? I got in line and I felt like my stomach was turning. I was going to throw up. And she said, sometimes you have to do that bold step that you feel like, oh my God, this is going to make me sick. I'm going to throw up thinking about it. And you do it anyway. And then it works out. And then you go into the next step. Yeah. So it's really good book. It's very engaging. It's very funny. You know, you can also get it on audiobooks. Most of the books that she's talking about, you can get them on audiobooks as well. So personally, I don't have the book. I have the audiobook. And I listen to it when I walk and when you drive. So yeah, very good book that speaks to you on many levels.
Yep. Then going into the next set of books, you guys would probably just want to write these down because obviously you're not going to go and purchase them all at once. I didn't. I'm someone that really likes to read books. I have Kindle more for like my daily reading, but for my mindset, I like being able to go back. So with that, Girl Wash Your Face and Girl Stop Apologizing. These books are amazing. I honestly bought this book and it sat there for maybe a year. I wasn't really convinced of how it would help. And then I read it, and I read the first chapter, and honestly, the first chapter pissed me off, and it pissed me off because it called me out so badly, and so I didn't want to keep reading. So I came back about 6 months later, being honest here, and I started reading it fully, and I fell in love with it. Same with this. These are both really, really good books. I journal after reading these, because it was just amazing books that really helped out. She does have podcasts. I do follow her on Instagram. But these books, I feel like, really help someone that is going through it. Just really, really helpful with that. So I do recommend these books as well, adding onto your list. But my top would still be You Are a Badass to start off with, or anything by Kara Alwell-Leyba. And then we go into there. Just a few other ones I want to talk about, and then Laura's going to jump in, that I've read is this one. I just finished this book about a week and a half ago. This book is a game changer. So usually what I do is I read one chapter from this and then read another chapter from a different book. But this one was a game changer for changing who I am and how I run my daily life and setting myself up for success. I probably posted this in our student group 100 times, different pages I was reading that I felt really spoke to just not only me, but my students. And so I will say that this was probably one of my top 3 favorite books that I have ever read, was Atomic Habits by James Clear. It does really well at breaking down why we are the way we are, why we think the way we are, why our habits are the way they are as well. And this book has just been a game changer. And then that's pretty much the ones I have that I want to share. But also, I just want to talk about, I just started this, so if you read it and hate it, don't get mad at me. But I've read this. I'm about 1/3 of the way in. It's called Relentless. Now, this is one for people that are kind of like the no BS type of people. This talks about think of how you would talk to an athlete when you're pumping them up. It's not very soft as the way it explains things to you. This is pretty much a no bullshit type of thing. And so if you're the type of person that gets motivated by someone being like almost like a personal trainer with you, I love this book. This book has motivated me probably the most as far as getting my mind set for the day so far. So I really like this. This actually came recommended to me by one of our REIW members. And so this has really set me up for success so far. Between these two, I feel like this year, these have been really, really good to start my year off fresh and really hit the ground running with all the goals I have for myself. So those are about the books that I'm going to share. I know there's a few here you may want to talk about, so I brought them.
Mm-hmm.
But you're welcome. So Laura's going to share a little bit more about what she helps, and then at the end, I'm going to share with you a book that has nothing to do about real estate, but is changing my life significantly. So go ahead.
Yeah, so one of the things is reading is only one of the great steps you should do every day, right? And definitely reading is the first thing I do every morning. Mm-hmm. But if you, another book I would recommend you pick up, or even an audiobook, is Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Like I said, I don't have books like she does. I actually listen to more. But Miracle Morning, he has several editions. He also did a Miracle Morning for the real estate investor on Bigger Pockets. And basically, the Miracle Morning is you do 6 practices every morning. And one of them is reading, obviously, the reading. You do meditation, you do writing, you do affirmations, you do visualizations, and you exercise. So those are the 6 things. And he said, even if you do one minute each, 6 minutes a day, it already changes your day. So just imagine if you can do 10 minutes for each activity every day, 1 hour, how it changes. So our reading was pretty much talked about here, and like reading, it doesn't have to be long, like one chapter, a few pages. And then my process, and you can kind of do things in a different sequence, and also you can multitask. Like for example, I go for walks and I listen to an audiobook while I walk, and I do my visualization while I walk. So I do 3, 4 things while I walk. So I exercise, I listen to a book, which is like reading, I visualize, and then I sit down and do my journaling. And then, if affirmation should be something throughout the day. But one of the things that I definitely recommend, the one thing I wasn't really clear how to get the most out of was this one. I have a book because I got it from my library. Is creative visualization. And this is a great book about really visualizing productively. And this is something that I've read over and over. And actually, I'm going to buy a copy because I have to return this. This is something I read over and over again. So I would definitely recommend this book. So Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, Creative Visualization, and I can't pronounce the name here. Shakti Gawain is her name. And then, so those are things I definitely recommend. Now, the other thing is, they're a little more different out there, and just it might speak to you or not. I'm a big follower of John Randolph Price, and he's from the Unity Church. And so his thing was, John Randolph Price wrote 2 books that I read all the time. They're very small, so I usually take them. Actually, I was looking for them to bring them here to you guys, but I have them in another bag. One of them is called Super Beings, and talks about how powerful we really are. And the other one is The Abundance. Actually, both books were recommended by one of my students years ago.
Book, by the way.
Yeah. And I love those books. These are books that I keep in my purse, and if they're very small, so you can flip any page and it gets me back into the groove of things. And the other book that to me was a game changer, and Elizabeth also has it, is Ask and It's Given. So this one is a little more out there if you're into the law of attraction and Abraham Hicks. But it's also kind of The Secret. If you watch the movie The Secret, this is more along those lines. What I like about this book is in the back they have 22 processes of things that you can do to elevate it. So you pick one, like I talk about journaling, which I do every day. As part of my Miracle Morning. Mm-hmm. So I talk about that, or some other processes, and you have to choose what speaks to you, and different times in your life might speak one another. So this is something I always have with me, Ask and It Is Given. And so some of the books there, but honestly, and then obviously You're a Badass, we talked about that. That's one of my all-time favorites. But whatever it is, because at different time in your life, different books that speak to you. Like she has Think and Grow Rich. Yep. And I read this recently too. I read this back in the 80s actually, and didn't speak to me at all. But now I read it again, and there are parts of it that speak to me. Obviously, I feel like it's not as contemporary as some of the other books, but it's really definitely a good old truth to go by. And definitely, I would recommend for anybody to read this at least once in your life. That's all I can think of right now.
So a few other books that kind of don't always pertain to like setting yourself up, but one of the things is I read The Greatest You by Trent Shelton. I don't know who follows him, but he is probably the most motivational person I follow. He just really spoke to me. The first chapter had me in tears, and it was talking about how you have this plan for your life and how it falls off and how you're in denial of letting that happen. And so this one really helped me out. And then I got Straight Up. I haven't read it yet, but that's on my list to do. Now, some ones that I haven't read that I've come highly recommended, I wrote down, but I also have a few, is How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. This has thousands upon thousands of 5-star reviews. So it's on my list. Yeah. So it's on my list. And then this one I actually see in top sellers everywhere is Get Out of Your Head. So this is on my list as well. A few others that have come recommended to me that I haven't gotten yet is called Do It Scared, Manifest Now, The Only Woman in the Room, You Can Heal Yourself, and Secrets of a Millionaire. So those are on my list as well. And what I do is when I hear about books that I really want to read about, I actually write them down as people tell me, and then I read the reviews as I'm looking for a new book because I'm ending another one that I want to go, and I go off of whatever I feel is going to speak to me at that time. Now, something that really helped that was recommended to me as far as just personal life changes, I started reading Atomic Habits, but one of our RAIW members recommended, because I'm trying to lose weight, I'm trying to change my health, and a lot of what I'm writing down to lose weight, I'm seeing is starting to go into the way I'm thinking of other things. And that is this book right here, The Beck Diet Solution. So I have seen this book go around and around and around, but now that I have actually been reading it in tune with these two books, so I do a chapter from one, it's been a game changer. I feel like the way I'm mentally prepared for things, the way I'm mentally acting, not just towards diet, but it also sets you up for doing it as well into your day-to-day life. So if anyone is trying to lose weight, this is a great book I think everyone should read, along with another book that helps with their mental weight, just day-to-day rate. So these are the books that we recommend for everyone that have personally helped us. Now, what I would love for you guys is to comment below books that were not mentioned that you feel helped you get through things, because I would love to write them down if they're along the same lines. The other thing I just want to bring up is we are doing a vision board party. This was about my last live. We're doing a vision board party on February 6th. This is virtual. You're welcome to come on. We're not going to make you share your vision boards, as those are personal, but we are going to have a party, and we're going to do different things. So you're welcome to check out the last live to find out what you need to do to be a part of it. You can message me personally if you want to be invited to the Facebook event, so that you get the information on it, what you're going to need, what you want to do. But we highly believe in vision boards. We have manifested a lot of what we have put on our vision board. I'm literally sitting in a house that I manifested by putting on my vision board 5 years ago. And so I really, if you do want to be a part of that, you're welcome to comment on here. But you're also welcome to comment on the last video too, and friend me so that we can make sure that you get added into that party as well. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think that covers everything. But like I said, reading to make it to really put manifestation on steroids, reading is one part. Okay, you have to really meditate or pray, write what comes out from the meditation or the prayer, and then do affirmation throughout the day, visualize, exercise. So all these have to be work together. And if you do this together, then you definitely become unstoppable.
Okay, thank you guys for listening. If you missed the beginning of this, don't worry. The live will process and be posted, so you guys can go back and listen to the beginning, because I think we shared our favorite books in the very beginning.
Yeah.
But Tammy, let me know how you think of Do It Scared. I love the Atomic Habits. You will not regret that. And hi, everybody else. It was good to see some of you.
Yeah.
And thank you, everyone that listened. And we'll make sure this gets put up. Also, if you don't mind, go following our YouTube. We're trying to build our YouTube channel. It's Real Estate Investing Women. You'll see the same picture as well. And we would love to talk to you and really interact with you guys. So definitely comment below. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.